No matter what grade you teach from kindergarten through senior year, there's always that one kid at least that is wildly immature, and it's disastrous on your class and on your classroom culture. It stops other kids from learning. It stops that student from growing and finding success in the classroom. And the question then becomes, what do we do when students are immature? That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's go. So when we're talking about this idea of being immature, really this comes down to kids that are taking each other's stuff, they're throwing things across the classroom, they're talking out of turn, they are slapping each other, kicking each other, they are doing things that just they know better, right? You know that they know better on some level inside. Whether or not they choose to follow that level is a different story. But what do we do that stops us from just doing the regular stuff, right? Like there's probably a number of things that if those of you that have been struggling with these students that have done over the year, from calling home, writing up referrals, giving kids attention, parent meetings, whatever it is, what the question becomes like, between now and the end of the school year, what can you do to minimize that so that your hair doesn't look like mine? I have a couple of quick ideas that I want to share, and then I'm going to talk about why these things all actually matter. So the first one I want to talk about is, I think I spelled that right, your boy's dyslexia sneaks up on him sometimes. Consistency, and I know I talk about this all the time, but here's why this is important right now. Everything I'm going to talk about needs to be ultra consistent. Systematize it. Make it a rhythm in your classroom, because it is something that when we can make it consistent, kids aren't surprised. I find that power struggles happen less when things are consistent. Power struggles happen more when things seem all out of the blue, right? We especially see this, the research shows that students with ADD and ADHD, they value a rhythm in their lives. And when anything upsets that rhythm, when you said we were gonna watch a movie today, but we're not, when you said that this was my seat, but someone else is sitting in it, those are the little things that set kids off, especially those with ADD and ADHD. Everything we're going to talk about has to have that rhythm, has to have that consistency in your classroom. The second thing is mentorship over friendship. Being close with students can lead to kids feeling like they can get away with stuff in your class because I thought we were cool, right? But when we're trying to get away from that, because, not when we're trying to get away from it, we are indeed trying to get away from that. Because in a child's mind, you're not calling them on their stuff. You're letting them get away with whatever they want to get away with, because you're not their parent. But when we take it a step up, right? That actually says meter, not. There we go. When you're not the meter, you're letting things go. What I want students to understand is that we are closer than this, right? Like friendship is like what you do with the people that are your age. What I'm talking about here is something even more valuable, because in your life, you're going to find that even your best friends are the ones that hold you accountable. They're the ones that tell you not to do something, that dissuade you from making poor choices, that check you when you're being out of pocket. And so and this is the same thing that mentors do. It's the same thing that coaches do, because they're interested in your growth. They're interested in you becoming the best version of you. So I'm trying to get away from this and more into this. And so how do we do that? We call kids on their stuff. We let them know, don't get it twisted. I care so much about who you become. I care so much about future you that I'm willing to call you on your stuff now. So don't get this twisted and think that I'm just picking on you or it's always me. It is always you, but that is a badge of honor you should be wearing, because I'm always going to call you on your stuff because I care about you. And so doing that consistently, mentoring students and helping them to grow into it. And if you get caught up in your own feelings as a teacher, you have to remember that, look, we're always saying education's only ever about students. It might cause you to feel uncomfortable, but you need to do what's right for the kid and not just what feels right for you. And that's a hard thing. Look, I'm not going to say that it's not, but it's something that once you practice little bits at a time, that compounds over time and you get better at it. In almost 20 years in the classroom, I have made more mistakes than I care to admit and really would like to own up to. Little mistakes that just wasted a lot of my time and took time away from my family, and other big mistakes that have really caused me to lose my cool in front of my class. I would hate for you to have to learn from your own experience instead of learning from mine. And that's why I created the Classroom Management 104 Common Mistakes and Pitfalls workshop, where I'm going to walk you through a whole bunch of issues that all teachers deal with and the answers that I figured out to minimize your ability to have to deal with it. Can't be there live? It's cool. We're going to send you the recording anyway. We priced it for teachers at only $39, and this is the last workshop we're having of this school year. If you want to make the rest of the year your best of the year, click the link below, sign up now, and we'll see you there. Peace. The third component here is constant documentation and contact. Here's what I want to just share on the front end of this. I know that not even just when I started teaching, but consistently in my teaching career, I would often take children's behavior personally, as if it were a reflection of my inability to somehow control a child. And the fact of the matter is there's only so much I can do. That constantly documenting and contacting about a child, and we'll talk about who I'm talking about contacting in a second, but doing that over and over and over again is looking for partners. It's knowing that I'm not the only one. It's knowing that it's that idea of this takes a village to raise up a kid and help them to grow into their full success. So when I'm documenting, I am emailing, I am writing referrals. Every time, we refer to it as writing up a kid. Every time I write up a kid, I'm not trying to get a kid into detention. I will often say that I don't want them to have a detention. But what I want to do is document behavior, because it's hard for me to remember all the things. So if a parent does come in for a meeting in the next couple of weeks and I've written their kid up 5 times this quarter, I can't remember and recall all those 5 times or what happened. So I just write it up so that I can remember when the parent does come in and we can have a meeting. Contacting not just parents, special ed, the dean of students, the rest of your team on your grade level, whoever else is in constant contact with this individual and might have some sway, right? Contacting is sometimes about reminding people, and then sometimes folks don't do it the first time you send it out. They don't do it the second time. They don't do it the third time. But the 5th, 6th, 10th time that you send an email, they might just do it out of sheer aggravation. They might actually get up and start doing what they need to do. So sometimes that is contact is a motivating factor. Folks, you have to remember, teachers are making and administrators are making hundreds of decisions every single day. That your email, your talk in the hallway can fall through the cracks. So following up on things is really, really important, and try and do it from a spirit of not annoyance, but hey, just putting this at the top of your radar. Hey, just putting this at the top of your inbox. Just wanted to remind you that I'm having trouble with this kid and I need help. That I find that those gentle pushes, those gentle reminders have a far better ROI than are you ever going to answer this? I need to have a meeting. This kid's making my hair fall out. Those sorts of things. And then your hair won't fall out because you'll have help. Maybe not with your hair, but with your students. Number 4, calling all cars. We're calling in all the resources. So similar to number 3, you're looking around your building and you're seeing who can help. Is it parents? Is it grandparents? Is it the coach from the football team? Is it other teachers that they get along with? Is it the dean of students? Is it somebody in the building has a connection with that student? And so if we can find out who that is and ask them for help, not for them to handle it, but for us to handle this thing together. Hey, can we sit down with Tom and talk about the situation that happened in class? It's looking for partners. And again, this isn't taking away power from you. It's not showcasing or spotlighting your own inability to handle stuff. And if someone tries to make you feel like that, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you. It's you getting over yourself so that you can do what's in the best interest of the child. And the 5th component is what we call Real Rap. So the channel name, Real Rap with Reynolds, which is maybe one of the worst names for a YouTube channel ever, comes from this idea that my students would say all the time when they needed to have a real talk with me. So if they pushed other folks off and said, yo, y'all gotta back up, I need to have Real Rap with Reynolds, it meant that we were about to have what we refer to as an HDR, heavy, deep, and real conversation. Real Rap, for me, if I have a whole class of kids that are being immature, that are acting a fool, I need to sit with them. So I'm not sitting at my desk, I'm not standing in front of the class, I'm not lording over someone. I am sitting down in a seat with my students and saying, listen, y'all, I need everybody's attention right now because we need to have a real conversation about something. The behaviors that I'm seeing in here, they are not something that I'm going to tolerate for the remainder of this class year. Actually, I'm not going to tolerate them for the remainder of the day. And so you need to know why. Because I care about you. Because I think that you're important. Because I think your education is so paramount to your development, and that what we're learning in this class, although you may not see it now, is incredibly important to the person you're about to become. I need you to know that. And so you're not only getting in your own way, but you're getting in the way of other people learning. That you have to remember that not everyone learns the same way. So when you're talking or screwing around, it's not just you who's not doing the work. You're causing issues for other students that are trying to do the work as well. And so going forward, there are going to be ramifications to your behaviors, and I will keep them uber consistent, but you need to know that they are done with your best interest in mind. That it is you that I'm concerned about. It's you who I want to grow. And I am doing this for future you. So you can feel however you're going to feel about it, but know that it's done from a place of love. I care about you all. I want you all to do great. And I'm not going to let you get in your own way while you're in this classroom. Having some version of a conversation like that with students and then letting them speak back to that in a respectful way can go a really long way. We can't expect that kids, like I said last week, we can't expect that kids can read our minds. We can't expect that they should already know because you're 14 years old. You're 10 years old now. You're almost in high school. None of that. We're looking and talking to kids as if maybe they don't know. Maybe they do need to hear it again, because in fact, leaders are repeaters. I would love if you would leave a comment saying something to the effect of, what do you do when your students are acting immature? I know that, look, there's no silver bullets in education. There's no one way to do anything. And so what are y'all doing that is helping your students when they are acting up in your classroom and being immature? If you could do the thumbs up and all the YouTube stuff, we'd really appreciate it. And share this with somebody if it helped you. We'll see you next time, gang.